For those of us who have an investment portfolio, it can be challenging to have our investments match our values, especially when our retirement and family's financial well-being are on the line. So today we have sustainable business expert David Levine here to share with us how we can make our money work for us and for the good of the planet. David, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Pleasure to be here.
Happy to have you here all the way from your many travels around the world.
Yes.
So tell us about the American Sustainable Business Council. You are the co-founder and CEO. What is the work that ASBC is doing right now?
Well, what we've understood is that the voice and the power of business is ever so important when it comes to looking at the key issues at our time and the policies that determine the larger systems. So back in 2009, we actually formed the American Sustainable Business Council as a network of business organizations and companies that would work together, aggregate their voice and power to really advance what we call a sustainable economy, which is really the belief that you can find the balance between economic well-being, in other words, creating profit for your business, as well as providing social and environmental benefit. There's sort of been this false idea that you have to choose between one and the other. And what there are so many more businesses now that have been proving that you can take care of your community, you can take care of the workers that are your employees, you can make sure you protect the environment, and you can actually do well as a business.
And make a profit.
And make a profit, exactly. So now we're representing over 250,000 businesses across the country, across sectors, across geographies, different sizes of businesses, and all of them are working with us to really advance the kind of both market shifts and policies to create what we're calling the sustainable economy.
That's wonderful, and it's important for us as conscious consumers to connect to that, particularly when we're making investments. There's this whole sort of divestment movement happening, and how can consumers sort of be a part of that and make sure that their money is going where their values rest?
That's right, and I think climate change is the key issue of our time, and each individual has the ability to impact, on the issue, both in terms of what they do in their own home, in their workplace, in terms of the energy that they use, but also in terms of, for today's purpose, really their investment portfolio. So actually, one is even just voting with your dollars in the sense of choosing the companies that are actually using renewable energy, not reliant upon fossil fuels or toxic chemicals and the like. So really understanding which type of companies are you making your purchases from. But in addition to that, the investment dollars that you might have could be invested smartly. So whether you're looking at equities, your stocks, or you're looking at bonds, there are now portfolios that you could look at that are fossil free. So what we're looking at is being able to sort of remove your money from supporting the fossil fuel corporations and industries, but not saying I'm just pulling out. What we're saying is we're actually reinvesting that, right? So that's the investment part of divest, invest. And the idea now is that there are so many different companies and opportunities to invest. So whether it's really to address climate change by investing in wind energy companies or solar energy companies or even energy efficiency enterprises, that these are growing multifold over the last number of years, both the growth of companies that pre-existed, but also the growth of new companies. And so what you can do is go to your investment advisor, if you have one, and ask he or she to be able to find you the kinds of investments that match your values and that help us address climate change at the same time.
Is that pretty easy to do? I mean, it's pretty available now, much more than it was even 5 years ago.
Certainly so. I mean, certainly, at the American Sustainable Business website, there are a number of investment firms that are members of ours that you can begin to take a look and compare it to your own. We can begin to take a look at the set of criteria that would help you understand that I need to move my money out of these companies that are creating this greater damage because climate change is the problem that's going to impact our health and well-being, our community's well-being, the environment in the larger frame, but also it's impacting businesses at such a large scale. You know, over 87% in polling that the American Sustainable Business Council did of small businesses, over 87% believe that they're going to be impacted by climate change. This is not going to be good for the long-term health and well-being of our economy, and therefore the well-being of all of our families and your families as well. So therein lies the opportunity. But in addition, you have, you know, if we begin to look at adding all those investments together, then we begin to understand that you could have a greater influence than just the individual dollars that you're investing alone.
Collectively, yeah.
Exactly. So the other ways to look at this is municipalities, so governments of all different scales are looking at where they invest. So they have pension funds, or you might belong to a union. The unions have a pension fund, or the universities have their endowments, right? Or so institutions from universities to governments to unions and the like have the ability for you to, if you're a member, if you're involved, to go to them and say, listen, we care about this. We want you to move those dollars over to more of a sound investment that's going to protect our future, which means moving out of fossil fuels and moving into renewables. Or you can expand your portfolio even further. For today's purposes, we're looking at divest, invest in relation to climate change, but you could look at moving out of hazardous chemicals to safer chemicals, moving into investing in local economies as opposed to large multinational corporations. So there's a lot of ways that you could use your funds in order to influence the kind of change that really aligns with your values.
Wonderful. Well, it's so exciting to know that there's so many ways to be more conscious consumers with our money. It's such a charged topic for people. So thank you so much, David. Love the work you're doing at ASBC. Look forward to hearing more. And for you guys at home, it's going to be Thanksgiving soon. You're getting ready? Good, because we're heading to Maui for a farm-to-table dinner that's sure to whet your appetite. Don't go away.
One more time? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Stick to the script, kid.